Hello, everyone, and welcome to our today's podcast on engaging young people in advocacy and safeguarding. Today, we will explore what are some potential risks while engaging young people in advocacy. We will also talk about the existing safeguarding risk mechanism, and we will also explore and discuss strategies when and how we can engage young people in a most safer way, especially when they are engaged for advocacy initiative. Our podcast is produced by Safeguarding Resource and Support Hub, which is known as RSH. RSH supports organizations in the humanitarian and development sector to strengthen their safeguarding policy and practices. I'm your host today. I'm Shanaz Rahman. I'm the national representative for RSH Bangladesh Hub. And thank you for listening to today's episode. Let's get started. I'm very happy to invite today our today's guest, Aklima Akter Milli, National Safeguarding Manager, British Council. Welcome, Aklimapa, and we are very happy to have you today.
Thank you, Appa, to inviting me in this podcast.
Aklimapa brings quite a significant amount of experience. She has more than 16 years of experience in this sector with a specific focus on capacity building and resource development around safeguarding. He is specialized on mainstreaming safeguarding to human resource development. That includes from payroll to performance management everywhere, how safeguarding can be mainstream. She is also a member of Funder Safeguarding Collaboration in Bangladesh, and she's supporting and working closely with the safeguarding people and experts in the sector. I'm very happy to welcome you today, Akimapa, and our today's topic that is very relevant for you because you are working with British Council, and British Council have a lot of engagement and work with the young people. And our today's topic is engaging young people in CSO-led advocacy and safeguarding. So my first question is, how do you see the young people engagement? What are the major advocacy initiatives where these young people are engaged with?
So, if we define advocacy, we can find it has three segments like community-based advocacy, national and international level advocacy. So, in our country context, I found a positive and successful participation of every tier of the advocacy in our of our young people. They are successfully implement community-based advocacy like prevention of early child marriage and 100% community-based, 100% sanitation, community clinic activation, and also they are working with the union porishad local level to share their budget openly, and also they are working with to develop their skills and being entrepreneur, and also I found that both all these they are working in local level as well as the national level. And if we share the international level experience, they are boldly work in the climate justice and what is the bad impact of climate changes, and they are shout their voice to the international community to seek support to the vulnerable communities. So I found it a positive and successful participation of in every tier of advocacy of our young people.
I really appreciate the way you actually identified that how young people are engaged, and I really like the way you mentioned that their participation has been quite meaningful, and it's not only for their life and also for the community and society. They are actually when they are engaged for claiming their rights, it's actually becoming easier for the mobilizer or for the campaigner, for the CSO to lead that agenda forward with the government or other duty bearer. And yeah, it's really quite interesting at the country level now because a lot of our population is young people now. So it would be one third of the population is young people, and they are now sensible and engaged with the project intervention and also very much aware about their rights, which is really great for the country as well. So, as you were mentioning there about their engagement, there are at the sector level, there are a few concern that when and how we work with the young people, how we engage them, and at what level this engagement is safeguarded. So, what are the major safeguarding concern, or what has been your learning around the issue related to their safeguarding concerns? How have you found that while working with the young people, while the CSO engaging young people in advocacy?
If I go first about the learning, so to engage young people, it's a great learning and positive learning for me. And definitely you will also agree with me that if we can share the goal of the advocacy issues or the social action project or the topics, what we wanted to achieve, how will be benefited the community, and also how it will meet the young people's interest, then they are extremely motivated, highly motivated, and they work by their own enthusiasm. And also, we found that if we keep their, if we open the space, we create the environment to hear their voice, and we can ensure their participation and continue the dialogue with them. They feel highly motivated, and if they found that they are in the leadership position and they are implementing, their voice are hard in the decision making, and they are the key part of the project, then it's really work oil. And we know that the young people have power, potential, and they have energy. So they engage all of their power and energy if they are motivated. But sometimes we found few challenges. As you mentioned, what are the safeguarding risks? So I think there are few challenges while we engage them in the advocacy intervention. First of all, I can share that their age, as because that that our culture is not open enough to embrace the young people's voice in the decision making process. So we have taboo to learn from young people. So that's the one kind of a challenge we face and they face in the initial level. Another challenge we can share that sexual orientation. If I share one example that a group while working in the marketplaces to prevent polythene use, so where the team led by young girl, then she cannot get access or emphasis. Rather, people are more focused on the male team member of that group. So that sometimes created the young girl then feel low. So that sort of discrimination we found in different level. And also sometimes the topic or issue what to work for, like the gender-based violence or the preventing sexual harassment in the public transport. The issue itself creates some chaos, some difficulties around the participation of the young group. Besides that, I can share that few other challenges like mobility. You know that when the young people are actively involved in the campaign or advocacy issues, they have to move district level or national level or international level to participate in different campaign or advocacy program or discussion. Then sometimes it creates difficulties in the family level, especially for female girls group that about their safety security concern or different kind of issues arise. So that's also another challenge. And sometimes young people face political difficulties, political challenge, sometimes political parties, main counterpart or basically face this type of a struggle when they are working so in their community. So sometimes besides that, we also find that in a consultation with young groups that in these days, they sometimes or mostly face the online harassment. You know that when we initiate any campaign or advocacy work, nowadays we are widely use social media. So sometimes participate in the social media or in a WhatsApp group, different type of media, their number, their young people's address are widely exposed through these platforms. They sometimes face a different type of abusive messages, text, harassment. So that creates sometimes psychological problems, and sometimes young people cannot control themselves. They might or may can do a self harm. So all these safeguarding challenges are here when you work with the young people in advocacy intervention.
Yeah, you have covered quite a good range of areas where safeguarding risk and concern arise. I completely agree with you that the social and cultural norms where violence is accepted is a huge concern when we work with the young people. And you mentioned with an example that how they are treated. Yeah, as a development worker, this is very important for us to be very mindful about these cultural norms and attitude in our community where we are operating. Because with those cultural mindset, the young people, when will interact, will experience the similar or maybe the worst scenario, and that can further bring harm to their life. And I also remember one story from one case, not a story actually, the real case that where a girl was working in the club was preventing child marriage, but with one child marriage prevention cases, she experienced quite an adverse violence, not only her and also her family, due to the political power, not the political, due to the community. You know, in every community there are the power and privileges. There are a couple of people who hold power. When someone goes against that, then the entire family actually suffer and they had to migrate. But behind the story, that CSO who were engaging the club, they have no idea what happened to the life of that girl. But we cannot actually ignore that responsibility as a development worker or as a humanitarian worker, that whether our intervention bringing further any harm to them. And that's where comes the safeguarding and taking proper mechanism or mitigation measures for that. And my next question is around that what mitigation measures do you see that work very well or currently we're practicing and found very well to engage with young people, and you would suggest the others, local CSO or other CSO, to actually utilize the same or follow the same mitigation measures?
Well, if we go for the risk mitigation action, I think the first and very important action is the risk assessment. First of all, we have to go through a very rigorous risk assessment before taking a project in hand, and also when we go for organizing any events. If we do a very rigorous risk assessment, and also we heard the voice from young people what challenge they are faced, we can also keep few mitigation actions and really to overcome all those risks. So I can say that risk assessment is very key, and we have to have a very contextual based risk assessment. And in my experience in current organization and my previous organization, I found that we have to have work with the organizational capacity building. You know that when a CBO based organization or local based organization work with us, they have a very minimum resources to develop their own policy. So I feel that there is the most important thing that we have to work with the local level organization to develop their own policy rather prescribe our policy. So it should be based on their context, based on their strength, based on their loophole, based on their community's voice, young people's voice, their staff's voice, how we can make the environment safer. So if we can develop the contextual policy, that will be great, and that definitely works well. And we have to have all of the implementing organizations would have to have their policy in their local language so that staff and other program participants can learn. And the awareness, there is no other alternative to awareness session like training orientation in different level stakeholders, and also reporting mechanism should be there, which is very accessible to our program participants, especially young leaders. And they should have one safeguarding focal at least, and the safe recruitment process should be there. You know that if we hire safer people, then the risk is being lower. So safe recruitment policy, and through this safe recruitment policy, organization should have to have check reference to whom they are going to select or hire. So if he or she have any disciplinary issues in their earlier organization, so and you know that reference should be checked from HR people. Otherwise, sometimes people share their friend name or friend type colleague names. So we didn't get the clear scenario from that. I can share that there is a best practice in British Council. We also go for a fully verifications, though it takes a longer time, but I think it give us a positive result to make our environment safer. And we also practice with our partner organization on this recruitment, safer recruitment process. Finally, I also shared that I wanted to share that the safe communication also another key areas to mitigate this risk. You know that we prefer that the facilitating organization should communicate with our program participants and especially young people through the official phone number, official email ID. And also, we have to maintain the office time to communicate with them. Definitely, any kind of audiovisual material when we develop with their young people, so we should have to take consent from them. If their child, then we have to take consent and legal guardians. So these sort of actions work, I can say from my experience, and also I can emphasize last but not least that the culture development. So of how we with our colleagues, how we behave with our program participants, especially young people. So our gesture, posture, language, and the way of communication will develop a safer culture, and people will learn from each other. So that's in a nutshell. I can share with you that all these mitigation action make our environment safer.
This is very, very helpful. Thanks for sharing this, Aklima. This is truly helpful. And you emphasized on the key area that we need to actually, we should look forward when we are working and engaging young people. Within this mechanism, do you feel that if there is something still missing that we need to take forward?
Yeah, definitely. There are few areas. First of all, I can share that we have to have ensured that the safeguarding is everyone's business. It's not only for senior, it also is for all, and also if not for any project. We should have to mainstream the safeguarding journey within the organization process and policies. So otherwise, it will not sustain. And another key area I can share that we are involved in the training only staff, project staff or organization staff. And second layer is a project participant, direct project participant, maybe young leaders, but we should have to go another round training for the key stakeholder of the project, where young people or any other program participant have to communicate with them, like administration, like school teachers or market committee or any other government stakeholders, and also civil society. We have to create a wider awareness session with about safeguarding. Continuous capacity building is highly required for the CBO organization or local level organization. I like a resource hub. We can benefit from this type of facilitating organization or capacity development organization or expert organization. These sort of support should be continued for a long run so that we can develop our organization, partner organization who are implementing at the field level. From my experience, I can share that there is still missing a national level network. We can develop a network in the future days. where we can share our best practices, our documents, and our challenges. And from that, we can develop a safer working environment in our organization. And another gap I found that the strong referral mechanism when any information of incident information come to our focal at the local level, they are afraid where they can communicate, how they can save the victim or survivor. So we have to have develop a strong referral mechanism. I know that BRAC take an initiative about such kind of referral mechanism in web versions, Songyog app through Songyog app. So we can make it working. We can keep it update and take the benefit from this. So, but sometimes that the project start with a good objective, but if in the middle it not work, or all other stakeholders are not aware about this. So it will be great if we can active this kind of referral mechanism active and get benefit from this. Otherwise, we can also develop local level at least referral mechanism like hospital, administration, police administration, contact detail, or shelter homes contact detail, psychosocial support home. So if we can share, we can support our survivors within moment. All required support are available in our organization. You know that one organization cannot provide support all of the support required by the survivor or the accused or the witness. But if we develop a joint referral mechanism and it can share within a moment with the survivor and the other stakeholder of the incident, so that will be great. So that's it. I feel that we can do in future.
Thanks, Safa. You mentioned the risk, and also you mentioned about that what is the mitigation measures missing. And yeah, I completely agree. And I also feel that our current effort is more around the safeguarding, capacity building at the staff level. But we need to take it forward, as you were mentioning, that our client, our beneficiaries, who are the key stakeholder for us, it's very much important for us to ensure that they understand our safeguarding commitment and also understand both our and their role. And we need as a local CSO to ensure that the policy and procedures is understandable to not only to the community local language, but also it's accessible for the people, especially for the person with disability and also diverse sexual orientation people. So this sort of initiative is very important when we are engaging young people, working with them, ensuring, acknowledging that the young people are coming from a diverse background where the power, privilege, and hierarchies are quite higher in our society. And we need to be very mindful when engaging them. They are equally treated. They have been given a safer space when they are engaged, and we not only assess the risk, but we ensure the proper risk mitigation management plan in place. If your activity is something that putting children in or young people in at the risk, and your mitigation measures cannot afford it, then I would definitely suggest that don't go for it, because you don't you have no, I mean, you cannot actually damage someone or cannot create a risk for your client or beneficiaries, engaging them further with any intervention. And that should be the key principle and the center, whatever we are doing. So the program design also similarly, the young people should not be engaged in their participation should not be like a tokenism or event based. We should ensure that you mentioned that in the beginning, that we should ensure that they are part of the program design and also part of the safeguarding risk assessment and mitigation plan design. So that's what might make the mitigation measures effective for them, where they can share that what actually safeguarding or safer engagement mean for them. And as a CSO, we need to be um, very much respectful while we are engaging or working together, because it should be their their well-being and their development should be at the center of whatever we are doing. Thank you, Appa. You have really mentioned the key areas that as a CSO should take forward to ensure a safer organization and safer mechanism. And I really appreciate you mentioned about the leadership, organizational culture that play a critical and key role when they engage with their client and beneficiaries. So it's very, very important. Anything else from your end?
We should keep safeguarding from the beginning of the project cycle to end. It should not be considered another standalone thing. So it should be every step of our thinking, of our implementing action. Definitely, safeguarding is everyone's business. We should share this message with all of them, all of the staff, all of the counterpart we engage with, so we can create a safer working environment and ownership of the safeguarding accountabilities.
Thank you so much, Appa. This is really very well said, and I really want to thank you for joining our today's podcast. This is really pleasure to have you today. This brings us at the end of today's discussion. I'm your host Shanaz Rahman, and you have been listening to Spotlight on how to engage young people in advocacy initiative produced with the support of RSH. We had help from Andrea Whitkins, Mariam Abdul, T. Solomon, and Sheikh Arifur Rahman for scripting, editing, and recording. Thanks to all of you for listening, and thank you to Aklima Akter Milli for joining me today on this episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you want to learn more about this program or on this topic, please visit our website safeguardingsupporthub.org. All of our social media can be found in this episode's information note. If you have any comments on this episode or want to share your thoughts for the focus of future episode, please contact us in social media, Facebook or LinkedIn. Or you can also email us on info@safeguardingsupporthub.org. Thanks for joining. See you on the next episode.